Hey everybody, welcome back to another Gravity Dev stream. Today, oh, let me close this. Well, we'll see. We'll see what we're gonna do. I have some ideas. I do have some ideas about what I should be doing. All right. We'll see. So recently, let's see what I've done recently. What is all this? Oh, that's the wrong folder. Do 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 do. Yeah. So recently, worked on a bunch of stuff related to cleaning up the UI menu. So let's see how that looks. Let me show you that. Hello, fellow Godot coder, and welcome. So I spent a lot of time on this. Bloop. There used to be a toolbar here on the left side, right over there. But it was growing, and if I added any more stuff to it, it would start to have a scroll bar. It would be too tall. Yeah, so I added this. It uses the same data structure, and it figures out the rings and everything on its own. So the nice thing about it is now, in here, so I've got, oh, it's not there anymore. Where did I move it? Here. So I've got this data structure here for all the different entities that you can use in the game, in the level editor. And I've got them kind of loosely grouped, right? But it's just an array. So these just come one after another. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? And it just goes in the game. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then it goes 12, 13, 14, 15, right? Or actually 12, 13, 14, 15. There's a thing it does where if it notices it's on the last ring and it's not going to fill up the ring, it kind of adjusts its starting point to make it centered. Otherwise, normally it would start it here and then it'd end here. So this just shifts it, rotates it a little bit to make it look nicer. But as I add more things, this will just grow. So I can like take all of these things, for example, and just copy them. And then I probably have to rerun the game. Yeah, see, it just gets bigger. So no coding involved anymore in making this menu bigger. And it can get quite big, right? I can add a ton more stuff into this third ring. And then I can do things too, like adjust the size of the icons or the size of the spacing of the rings to make even more room. Or I could even, instead of making it concentric circles, I could make it maybe a grid of items here and a grid of items here and a grid of items here. I could do a square. Anyway, it makes it a lot easier to continue adding items without having to worry about the toolbar, that stupid toolbar. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Took a couple days. Took a couple of days to get all this in and debug it. The code is actually not too hairy. How do I see it? What it does when it goes into the tree is it gets that list of entities, and then loads up a button for each one and creates a preview for each one. And then it stores those in this array and this array. And then when you actually show the dialog, it goes through that list and just calculates a position on the ring for each one and shows them. Not too bad. This creates the preview for each one, which does some stuff where it loads the actual entity, the game object, but then it does some stuff to make sure it's not a real game object. So it like takes the collision away and hides particle systems and other certain things on here. And then the buttons themselves are these, which is like a any button. Yeah, it's just this, a texture button with a sprite inside of it, a little animation player. That's what does the kind of floating up and down thing, and a sound effect. So this thing just loads a bunch of those in that ring shape, and it puts them all as a child of this, which is right in the center of the screen. Not too bad, but it did take a couple of days to figure it all out. But now that that's behind me, I can start adding more stuff. And yeah, that's why we're here today. I'm going to try and add some more stuff. Got to add more stuff. So I was thinking, I don't know, I've got all this stuff that I want to add. Thank you. I've got all this stuff I want to add, but I'm not sure what to work on next. Part of me says just start at the top of the list and work your way down. But I kind of want to do... So this is a very passive thing. It's like it's just a decoration, and I kind of wanted to do something more fun. And I think I need to add another thing in here, actually. I need to do a rework ice cave wall art. Let's start there. Because I'm looking at my ice cave walls, and they're fine. They're okay. But the texture that's being used... So here's the red ones, right? And see how much detail there is? There's lots of little interesting bits everywhere you look. But in the ice walls, there are big areas like this blue and this blue where it's just kind of plain and empty. And when you're the player, you really notice it because the camera in game is this big, right? So you just see these big flat areas instead of some more interesting stuff like this. Like this is fine. There's lots of interesting detail in there. But this, if you're flying by this is more boring. And it's possible, that you'd get a land shape like this in the game, right? Something like that, where it's just mostly all one color, like that. You could get that in the game right now, and it's just kind of boring. Yeah, so I'm going to do something about that. Let's see. The thing I don't want to do is... Oh, there's that dog. Everyone say hello to my neighbor's dog barking in the background. I'm sure he's a fine dog. I like my neighbor. One of my coworkers told me how I can poison him. That was her first reaction. Oh, have you tried poison? Wow. So one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to just replicate or copy what I have going on here. So this has all these little neat squares in it, right? They're like little, I don't know, mineral deposits or something, right? This is meant to be more like icy rock, and so I want a little bit of this maybe, but I don't want it to look just like a blue version of this. I want it to look different. So I got to be careful what I do. Yeah. Are you serious? Because that could work, but I'm not sure if you're messing with me. Triangles. Well, we'll try them. We'll try them. Yeah, we'll try. We'll try something. So nice thing about this is I think I can open up a test scene. I have a test scene. And I think what I need to do is take, how do I do this? I think I need to take one of these walls and make its theme blue. But then, what do I need to do? I think I need to make it a tool script. There it is. So now it looks like it does in the game. It's behaving like it does in the game, showing the right texture and everything. So now that I've got this, how do you make this only pick the top level? Is there a way to do that? Yeah, that's what I want. All right. So now I can open up the texture for that and just change it. It's in my walls folder, textures, blue. Right now I can do like, do that, save it, flip over, and there it is. So I can see pretty much in real time how it's going to look. And I've constrained myself a bit, right, to work in this palette. I'm not 100% in this palette for every piece of art in the game, but it's pretty close. Yeah, like these skin tones. All these top tones right here are used in the character portraits. These are used in the bad guys a lot, in these grays. The blues are primarily used for good things in the game, the blues and the greens. I use the pinks and purples for damage. And then some of the other stuff for UI stuff, like the yellows and oranges. So there aren't very many blues here. Which is just a stylistic choice. There's no reason. It's arbitrary. Yeah, it's arbitrary, but it's what I've chosen, so that's what I'm stuck with, so to speak. Sprite's pretty nice. It has a ton of palettes built in. I can't even remember which one this one is. I think it might be one of these. I think it might be this one. But then I added one color to it. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 31. I guess I added a color and deleted a color because I think I added this and then I deleted something else. I don't know. Do I really only have 31 colors in my palette? 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 31. I don't know. Probably if I look through all the art that I've done, I could find a couple of colors I never use. Like, I don't know if I ever used this. I don't know if I've ever used this. So I could, and maybe even some of these brown tones I've never used. So I could probably swap them out for something more interesting. and start using those if I needed to, but I don't know. I think for my next game, I'm going to do something fun like, I don't know, like this. All right, that'd be fun. Pico 8 palette's nice. It's kind of wild, but it's nice. Or I might just go, you know, 1 bit, do like orange and black or something. That could be cool too. Or who knows? I might not care. I might not care. Maybe this is a restriction without any benefit. I don't know. Do people care? Do people care what color you use for your game? Here, we got our blurry preview. I was thinking maybe it would be nice to have something like little crystal shapes. Maybe. Oh, you know what? I need to put on some music. Some tunes. Oh yeah. That's some sexy art music right there. There's a triangle. That's actually, that looks kind of cool actually. I think I said this last time I was doing art on stream, is it's hard for me to drawing is actually super hard to do for me, and it takes a lot of concentration. At this stage of the drawing process, it takes a lot of concentration for me. So I don't tend to talk very much. If you guys didn't know, Sprite has this tiled mode. So by default, you're looking at it like this. Right? But then you can put it in tiled mode. Boom. And that way you can do things like, you can draw like this. Right? See how it copies it over? So that way you can make sure it's seamless. You can just draw the seamlessness. And then when you get it back into untiled mode, that's your repeating tile. So I kind of like that. That's kind of nice. It reminds me of like a fossil or something. There it is. Kind of like that. Let's do another one of those. Let's do one. Let's do one. Let's do one right here. Right here. I forgot what I was saying. I get a little distracted because this takes a lot of my concentration. So I'm gonna check the chat, but don't feel like I'm ignoring you if I don't say anything for a few minutes. It's just gonna take me a minute. And then meanwhile, if anybody has any questions about anything, Godot related or art related or game development related or whatever, feel free to ask. I'm happy to talk about stuff. That actually looks kind of cool. It's like this looks like a flower petal or something. I'm kind of just trying at this stage to find some cool shapes. And maybe the shapes are going to be, you know, I mean, that could be cool. It could be curved. But right now I'm kind of sticking to these kind of angular shapes. There it is. It's like a sliding window. I'm just moving it around. There it is. So this is actually a really big texture. What is that? What is that size? It's 1,000 pixels. So it's a 1K texture. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, let's do that. You don't have to move around so much. And I'm gonna delete you. No, I'm gonna keep you. I'm gonna hide that. No. Hide that? No. What is this blue purple line I'm seeing? Oh, that's a camera. Isn't it? All right, let's put something here. I think there needs to be something here. Oh, what is this blur? Pretty cool. AP64, but you can tweak it a little bit, yeah. I mean, so I use this palette. I say I use this palette, but I don't use it for 100% of everything. Like, there's a lot of weird colors in the shaders that I don't try to control. Like the star background is also kind of weird. So yeah, I'm not serving the palette. The palette is serving the game. How do I manage to stick with the project for so much time? Yeah. I don't know. It's just discipline, you know? It's like, the thing about it is, you don't have to do this, right? Nobody has to do this. Well, I don't know. Maybe some people do. I don't. I don't have to do this. And I told myself at the beginning of this project, I would only do it if it was fun. So, stray pixel up here. I would only keep doing it if it was fun. So I told myself. Hey, Scooter. And so far it's been fun, you know? It's just been fun. I like doing it. Now there are days where it's no fun. And for those days, I mean, those are more challenging, obviously. But if it ever got to a point where I was like, this is no fun, I don't like doing this anymore, I would quit. I would 100% quit. My life is too short to waste it on time. Waste it on things that aren't any fun. And there are sometimes things you have to do that aren't fun. And those are an exception. But this is an optional thing. And for an optional thing, it's got to be fun to do. Otherwise, I'm not going to do it. So then the question is, well, how do you keep it being fun? Because it is totally possible that you're working on something and potentially it could be fun, but you're just doing it in a way that's not fun. Or there's a lot of, you know, even in a fun activity, there are a lot of boring bits to it. And that's where I tend to see most people quitting, right? When they get to the boring stuff. Or there's a lot of technical debt or something in the game. And because of that technical debt, the programming isn't going the way you'd like, or something about that makes it unfun. And for those types of things, you do need some kind of good organization skills. One of the things there, that might be too much detail. So one of the things there is keeping a good list, right? And as a solo developer, it's kind of nice because you have this huge list, it's gigantic, but, so it's slow to work through, right? There's a ton of different things you have to do. But that's also a positive because there's a ton of different things you can do. And if you get tired of programming, you can just make art one day and kind of recharge your batteries, or work on a problem in the level editor, or make some sound effects, or fix a bug, or just do some design work, you know? Suggestion from Scooter here, add rescued astronauts to the game over scene. Or do some marketing, you know, whatever. So that's nice that you can do that. And that's kind of how I keep things interesting, is I'll get bored of doing one thing, so I'll switch and do something else, and it keeps it fun. Keeping my focus as well is important, right? So like this to-do list here, these two are the essentials I need to release the game out of early access. Have to have these. This stuff is just nice to have. It's just icing on the cake. So I'm not doing this stuff. I'm not going to do anything from this list until all of these are done, and only then if I have extra time. So I keep things focused, keep things moving, work on it a little bit every day, and it's a project that I have fun with. Yeah, I mean that's basically it. It's hard though. There's no one answer for everybody, you know. Kind of like two materials kind of merging together there. And there's kind of this swoop going off in this direction, so I'm kind of just mirroring that in here a little bit. A little continuity or something. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, maybe. Like something like this, right? Where they're kind of blending into each other a little bit. Like it's, yeah. The trap here is that you can spend a lot of time looking at it like zoomed up like this and just add a bunch of detail that just ends up looking like garbage in the game. And then my test scene is not really perfect in the sense that it's close to how it'll look when you're playing it, but it's not exact. So I still need to play it, you know, before I get a true picture of how it's going to look. Yeah, let's go ahead and just actually run it. Hey, Judd. Hey, Judd and Slacks. You watch them all. That is a lot of television. Alright, so you see here. I gotta turn off the enemies. They're making the level hard to test. I delete you. But so you see in here, like this big empty blue area, it just needs something. Not a lot, but something. This empty, big empty blue area and this, right? It's just kind of boring. Let's add some more. So far, I'm not seeing any of the new stuff that I've drawn. know something here, because I think that's where one of those blank areas was, like right in this area. Wow, thanks, Slacks. Alright, so see, so there's a little bit there. There it is. See, that's more interesting. Yeah, that's more interesting. One of the reasons I keep thinking to myself my next game might be 3D is that, you know, 2D looks pretty flat, can look flat. It's difficult to make 2D look not flat. But it's a little easier if it's 3D. And, I mean, it's all an illusion at the end of the day, but with the 3D, you get a little closer from the beginning, and the workflow's a little tougher. I don't know. I keep going back and forth. I was hanging out with some friends. One of them was an artist who worked on a pretty big game recently. And she was showing me her 3D workflow, and it was just like, ugh, that looks like a lot. I don't know if I ever want to do that. But the results were great. Yeah, I think more of that. But you can see, like, if you had this just completely fill up this whole area, it would be too busy. It would look too much. You need to break it up, you know? I wonder, I think what I'll do here, let me try adding in some dimension to that and see if that does anything interesting. Like if I did something. Oops. Something like that. A little bit of highlight, you know? And maybe a little bit of shadow. I don't know how that's going to look. I don't think it's going to look good. Yeah, I don't like that. I think maybe something, I don't know, maybe something like, faceted gems or something. It's just hard to do without all the colors that you'd want and without the lighting effects on it. It's just hard to make it look the way I kind of see it in my head. If I had shadows on here, and you know, if it was actually bumpy and sticking out, you could actually do lighting and shadows on it and stuff and really sell it. Just harder to do this way. And I don't even know if it matters. I don't think it matters. It's kind of like one of those nice to haves, but I don't think people really, for the most part, I don't think it's that important. Maybe just some fine lines, that would be nice. Like I could still do that. Just a few of the big ones. And I'm for sure not going to do an animation on these sprites because they're just too big. 1,000 pixels by 1,000 pixels, 1,000,000 pixels per frame. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. That's interesting though. I kind of like that effect. So that's neat. That's like another different effect. So I've got these jaggies, I've got these little bits, and I've got these kind of faceted bits. Yeah, I kind of like that. Alright, let's keep going. I could do these kind of dithered effects as well at some point. Let's do something here. You can be my wingman anytime. Are they still making that Top Gun remake? Let's get something in here. Let's see, do something like what am I doing? I'm losing my mind. There's a face in the rocks. I can see it. Yeah, so I kind of like that. Where is that? I'm not seeing anything. other stuff I drew. Let's see. So that is more interesting. Here's my face. The reason that this texture isn't mapped the same as it is in game, so see how watch this will change, right? Is because the resolution here is different, and this is 1920 by 1080, and this is 640 by 360. Camera size, zoom, everything's all different, so it's not going to match exactly. This gives you a kind of a feel for how it'll look, and this is how it actually looks. I could probably fix that somehow by changing the way the shader works. Like, it would know if you're working at 1920 versus working at 640 and do something different maybe, but I don't know. I don't know if that's worth the effort. Giant space yeti, yeah. I mean, that sounds like something that might fit better in your game than mine, Max. Thematically. In case you guys didn't know. Yeah, there's gonna be. You guys could go check this out. Max is working on this game. Look at that. Ride flying dogs with your friends through a fantastic road trip through the sky. He's a Unity developer, but don't hold that against him too much. He's a decent human, despite the fact that he uses the wrong game engine. Alright, let's try something a little different. Let's try this. So at the risk of getting too much detail, this could look cool with like a different texture though. Maybe different brush. Maybe. Maybe. See, the way this reads when it's blurry like this and kind of far away is it just reads a little messy. So just based on that, I don't like it. I want things to be kind of clean and nice, and they need to read well. And you start doing wow. you start doing like too much detail, and then it gets a little out of hand. That's not so bad. No, I don't like it. Don't like it. Things always just seem to look better when you do them by hand. One thing at a time. Even though it's super tedious and takes forever. I seem to definitely have a bias towards going this direction. See, I keep doing that all over the place. I think that's just the way my hand likes to go. Crit is another app I use. I kind of get around this problem in Crit by just rotating the entire canvas. But you can't do that yet in Aspray, I don't think. Alright, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a little bit more on this. It's like this big blue area needs something. And then I'm going to call it quits for right now. On this. Because I just need to sit with it for a little bit, see how it feels. Gotta be careful with 1 pixel details. The smaller the pixels are in your game, when you're doing a pixel art game like this, 1 pixel details like this tend to look really bad when they rotate, or when they'll shimmer a little bit as they move across the screen. And you just have to be aware of that limitation when you're doing this style. I've been watching a lot of garbage television lately. I think one of the best shows on television right now, in terms of junk food, candy, garbage, is the 911 show in the US. There's 2 of them. And one of them has Rob Lowe as the fire chief. And they're utter trash. And I mean that in the best way. That's the highest compliment I can give it. The writers are doing something amazing on that show. It's like when you know something's bad for you, but it tastes so good, you just keep eating it anyway. And And we've also been binging a little bit of 90 Day Fiancé, which is just, I don't know. I don't know where they find these people. But it's fascinating. All right, let's see where that gets us. And then, so yeah, as I'm looking at this, I'm like kind of scanning my eye around, and I'm seeing a little bit of imbalances up here in this layer. This all looks pretty good. This looks pretty good. I think this is okay. Let me add a little bit here to this strata here, and then I'm gonna call it a temporary halt on production for this area. I've also been playing Scourgebringer, which has been out for a while, I think. Oh, but that game, talk about candy. That game, it just scratches all the right itches for me. It feels good to play. Oh, that's neat. Look at that. A little happy accent. So you see what I did here was I'm kind of like mirroring these shapes, and like this shape here going into here, this angle and this angle. That kind of stuff just feels right to me. It feels good. I'm not sure what it's called. There's probably some art theory that explains it. But I'm just like copying some of the lines, mirroring some of the lines, and mirroring some of the shapes to make them look like they would fit together, but not quite, you know? And it just feels more natural or organic to me to do it that way. When you're drawing like this, one thing to remember is that you're not just drawing the shape, you're also defining the space between the shapes. And like this space here, that's its own interesting shape. Right? This is its own interesting shape. Right? This is an interesting shape. So you got to remember what you're leaving behind as well when you're drawing these things. Like even if you don't notice it consciously, part of your brain is going to pick up on the negative space. And so it's important that that looks good as well. And you have to find some balance between what you're doing in the foreground and what you're doing in the background. You got to give your viewer's eye some pauses and some places to rest. You know, if you just make it busy, they're not going to know where to look. But you want to give them some you know, I'll look at this and then look at this nice empty space they can rest, and then look at this and then some space they can rest. Kind of like pauses in music or something. All right, let's do that. Kind of fun. This brush I'm using is called a contour tool, and what it does basically is it lets you draw an outline, and then it fills it in thusly. Right, and you can even cross the contour like that, and it does some funky stuff. Pretty neat tool. All right. That is looking better. I like that. Feeling a little bit of emptiness right here. Yeah, that's because it's kind of in between. It's this is crossing a boundary of the texture, so it's hard for me to see, which is where that symmetry or tiled mode comes in, right? So now I can see this blank space better, and I can draw right in it. Yeah, that looks good. All right, so let's fly around it a little bit, see how it feels, and then I think I'm going to call that for now and move on to something else. Yeah, see, already I like the way they look better. More interesting. Flying through, I'm not seeing anything that's just one solid color. All right, there's always going to be some variation in there. It's just one giant texture, but you can't really tell just by looking at this. It's hard to see the repeats, right? Because the screen is so much smaller than the texture. And it looks different enough from the other terrain. Pretty happy with that. It looks a little bit like it's kind of shattering or faceted on the inside. It looks sharp, or it's got sharp bits, cracks, crevices, pointy bits. There's nothing really rounded about any of these, which is nice. Yeah, I like it. And then you combine those with some props, like these icy rocks. Right, give it a little bit more life going on. You can do So there's another thing you can do is you can create a wall like this and make it a background. And then put it like that. Do I need to do, maybe I don't. Yeah, that's fine actually. I was thinking I would need like a bluer one of these. But that's okay. That gray, that works with the blue. Mm-hmm. Yeah, happy with that for now. All right. Close that. Put this in my review status. Let's see. This I think I'm happy with. I'm going to call that done. This needs rework still, and it's not done. All right, let's look at maybe creating a projectile of some kind. I don't know. I'm gonna need these ice enemies, right? So I've got ice tanks, ice rays. I was thinking of making maybe some kind of ice mines or something. And they're all gonna need to shoot some kind of icy bullets. I need to think about that one some more. I need to come up with some designs for this stuff, these enemies, some silhouettes probably. Hey, Vim. I love those monkeys. Thanks. Yeah, I like the ice. Did I do this one? I did that one. That's really this. Maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll do this after all. Yeah, let's do that. Let's just try and come up with something. So I've got these. I started one. Didn't like it. I've got I've got this, right? Those show up in the game all over the place. Right? So I can put these in here, but you know, they look a little out of place on the blue. I want some kind of different flora and fauna to really sell the fact that you're in a different world, you're in a different part of the galaxy than you were. And this red space tumbleweed won't do. Just won't do. So let's see what we can come up with. I don't know. This is always so hard. Could do something completely different and wild, like let's see. Whatever it is, I need to have it radiating out from a central point. Just because that's how it's going to be placed into the world, and you'll be able to rotate it. So this side will animate a little differently than this side, and by rotating it in the world, you'll get different variation out of it, because some of it, like this half, will be hidden and this half will be seen, or maybe this half will be behind a wall and you'll see this part, and so you'll get that variation. And then it helps it blend too if you had like a bunch of them overlapping each other. That's how these guys work too. So I'm going to do the same type of thing. But maybe it'll be something like some kind of weird like central plant. Something like that. And then kind of these stems coming out. And then maybe like some kind of weird like I mean, these are alien plants, right? They can look like anything. There's no rules. Like a little tulip cup. I'm going to let people mix the enemies, so there'll be some, you know, like you'll be able to put in the old turrets into the new levels, but I'm also going to have some brand new enemies. I'm not just going to reskin them and have them be the same. They're going to be new behaviors on these things. So your experience playing the old levels will carry over because there'll be some familiar enemies, but then you also have to learn some new patterns for how these new enemies behave. And I think right now in the current levels there are drones, turrets, blisters, lasers, and I want to augment all those with at least 4 or 5 new enemies. And I think I want something like a mobile turret. I was thinking of something like a enemy that drops mines in an area, or maybe just like mines in an area that home onto you. I was thinking of some kind of ice thing that freezes the ship, or ice that attaches itself to the ship and makes it really heavy, and so you start falling. It makes the ship harder to control. And some new obstacles. I was thinking of making patches of ice that are reflective, so you have to be careful if you're shooting in that direction that it's not going to reflect in a bad way and hit something that you don't want it to hit. Just, you know, lots of stuff like that. All right, let's take this. Let me just take this. So I'm just working on silhouette here. I want to take this and see just how it interacts with the other stuff in the game. So what we're going to do is create a ice plant. What I'll do is I'll copy this, resave it as ice plant, and then call it ice plant. Excuse me. Call it ice plant. Change the sprite, and the sprite is going to be sprite would be in the props folder, textures, ice plant. Let's go ahead and give it, I think, 12 frames. Yep. Give it 12 frames, export it. Right? So my 12 frames are all the same, so it's not going to do anything. And then I need to add a entity for it for the game editor, and we'll put it right next to the existing grass, and we'll call it ice plant. Ice plant. We'll come up with a more interesting name later. This will be placeholder for now. All right, and run the game. So now it should be available in the editor. Oh, I need to tell it to load the right scene. Ice plant. So one problem that's coming to mind right away is that it's difficult to place these right next to each other because you get these overlaps that are no bueno. Like with this thing, right? I can just place it, place it, place it, place it, place it. They look fine. This thing, partly because it's not got enough branches, you can kind of see the repeats. It's a little more fiddly to place. Maybe it'd look better if it was animated, but no, it's not so bad. So what I'm looking for here is the scale right? Are the colors right? Is the shape, does the shape feel right? And my first reaction is that these feel a little big. They're enormous. And I think I want something a bit smaller. Yeah, you can see that they're much bigger than the old space grass, or in terms of like the size, like its wingspan. This is more compact than this. So I've got a scale issue. Yeah, I think I want to tighten it up, make them a little bit smaller, make these bulbs a little smaller. I think I want some kind of effect like these other bushes, they just kind of jiggle. Where are they? Where's my space bushes? Oh, did all my... I did something wrong. Because all my old space bushes got converted to... Oh, it's because I had... What did I do? Oh, that's fine. I don't know, I did something. It was probably because the way I added the entity, it just messed things up. But so these old space bushes, they just kind of jiggle. Oh, look, it did it again. It converted them. Yeah, I've got a bug in here in this entity definition. Ice plant placeholder. Ice plant. Oh, I know what it is. It's because I'm using the same script as the ice plants. And what I need to do is make this script unique. Yeah. So let's change this back to grass. And then I'm going to make the script unique here. Make unique, and then save it again as the ice plant script. And then I can change this to ice plant. And now, when I reload it, it'll load the right thing. Do 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 do. So there it is. Did I do it backwards? That's right. Oh wait, it switched. Look, they flipped. And then they flipped again. I did it backwards somehow. Yeah, that's got to be grass. And this has got to be ice plant. I had my ice plant loading grass, my grass loading ice plant, but now grass is loading grass, ice plant's loading ice plant. Alright, everybody's happy. So these old bushes just kind of jiggle. And I want these to jiggle. But I also want them to, like, I don't know, look like they're glowing maybe. Maybe there's some lighting effect on them. Or they're, like, emitting some kind of dust or pollen or something like that. Some kind of space ice pollen. I want them to be a little bit more reactive in that way. A little more. I want to do more than just jiggle. Alright, so a little smaller, a little smaller, a little more something. export it. Export, save. Oh, I only changed the one frame. Oh, that's kind of nice though. That's neat, right? I'm getting a little sense of what the animation might be like. Another happy accident. Let's take that frame and just put it on everything. Just want to get a sense of the size right now. Yeah, so that feels a little better, this size. All right, let's see what we can do here to make it look a little more interesting. I'm going to link all these frames. So now if I change one, they'll all change. Hey, Gruntled. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, man, I watched your replay the other day. Hey, Droopy. Thank you. I watched your replay the other day, Gruntled, or when you were playing Gravity Ace, and you were having so much trouble getting past that level. It was fun to watch, and then the look on your face when Vim, I think, pointed out, hey, you can just leave the reactor there and then come back for it later. It was awesome. It reminded me, actually, what I think I want to do. Let's just do that right now, because it reminded me that I wanted to do this, but I forgot to write it down. This would be a add an arrow and ghost to the reactor platform. And this is I'm going to call this a design thing. So I was thinking to make that more clear that you can do that is I want to add an arrow. Right, something like that. And I wanted to add a ghost reactor. Let me see, I do that on the cargo platforms. How do I do that? I have the arrow, I have the box. Okay, and that's its own scene? Why did I make it its own scene? Oh, because it's animated. Okay, okay, cool. So I can load up the reactor. Let's just do this real quick. Copy you. And you are going to be this. Mm-hmm. Considering for a bit moving to Unreal, but then I tried it out and the load times are the worst and I just love Godot. So I know, right? I tried Unreal as well. I did. I gave it a try. And the problem with Unreal for me was that every time I wanted to do anything, I had to wait 20 minutes for me to try it out. And I was like, no, thank you. I don't like that. Unity didn't work very well for me at the time. I don't know how it is now. And then I found Godot and it was like, wow, this, I just hit F5 and it's running? Cool. Let's do that. Let's try that. Let's try that. So this will be my generator icon. Do I already have a generator icon? Did I just remake something I didn't need to remake? No. I don't think I'm using this anywhere, but I'm not sure. So I'm just going to save this as a new one. Close you. All right. So now in here I'll have got my arrow and I've got you right there. And how do I do it here? Okay, that's fine. And then I want to convert this into a let's convert this into a scene. We'll call it the generator ghost scene. I call it a generator in here in the editor because that's how it started out. And then later in the game, I started calling it the reactor core because it sounds cooler. But I didn't want to rename all my files or anything. Okay, let's take this and delete it from here. Instead, we'll do this. So I'm going to make this the root. And then I'm going to add in my arrow here. And I'm going to put you at the center. And I'm going to put you up like that. And then you will end up looking that. Right? Okay. And then I can add a animation player here. And I can do default animation. And it's going to run automatically. It's going to loop. It's going to go for 1 second. And it's going to make this starting at 0, 0. And at half a second, it'll move it down 4 pixels. And then move it back to 0, 0 again. And I'm going to change the easing here to be in, out. And this to be in, out. And that will make it look like it's kind of gradually bobbing up and down. Okay. And I'll call this generator ghost. And now if I go back here, I can delete this whole thing and just add it back just to make sure it works like I expect. There she blows. All right. And then in the platform, I think somewhere in here it says it knows if, I think it knows somewhere if the thingy's attached to it. Somebody knows. This knows. Okay, this is all the electricity effects. All right, so I actually want the generator ghost to be in here. And in this script, I will either oh God, just trying to remember what I'm doing here. It'll either be on or off, right? Bodies. Bodies. What is index? Okay. Okay, so it either starts the effects or it stops the effects. Yeah, so if it's starting the effects, then I will hide the generator ghost. Otherwise, it's gonna... No, that'll be show. This is stopping the effects. So it'll show the generator. Otherwise, it will be hiding the generator if there's a generator attached. Let's see if that works. Oh... Let's add a generator, reactor right there. So if I remove the reactor, it's not doing it. Okay. So this can't be a child of this because I'm hiding the whole thing. It's more complicated. I would love to do a vehicle sometime, but I have no experience with it at all. I've seen some cool stuff though with vehicles. Let's see if I can find. There was somebody doing a vehicle game in Godot, and it looked awesome. I must have retweeted it. None of this is looking familiar, but I remember seeing it, and it was like a, I don't know. It was like an arcade remake of like Off-Road or something. Maybe I saw it on Reddit. It wasn't this video, but I mean, I look at this and I say, oh yeah, totally doable to make cool vehicles, wheels going up and down. You know, just a little sliding on the back wheels. You can do all kinds of cool stuff. But I don't know what kind of controller this is or how to set up the physics or anything. I just know it's possible. I just don't know how to do it. I've never done it before. So, I'm useless to you. Useless. All right, let's put this here. I want to take this out. And this out. And I want to put something in this script. I mean, I could, for right now, I could just say... get parent find, right? I could do that. Let's just do that for right now, just to see if it works. Find node. Okay, it's working, right? So there's my ghost, and I can, right? It just tells you, here's where you put the reactor. I could put a little text here that says, hey, straight up gruntled, drop it here. And then this sprite, how do I do it here? Does this have material on it? It's doing... Oh, okay, just a canvas item add. Okay, I can do that. I'm trying to be consistent, you know, make things look the same. So I'll do a canvas item material with add mode. Makes it brighter and it makes it a little see-through. And then I want to simplify the sprite a little bit and do just one color like that. Maybe. Let's see. Let's reload that. So texture changes and stuff only appear in the editor, and then they don't for some reason, which I haven't bothered to figure out yet, they're not loading into the game in real time like they used to for me. And I think that's just because, see how it's kind of see-through? That's that canvas item add mode. And the cargo platforms do a similar thing. These crate platforms. Right? And you can put a crate on it. Bop, 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 bop. That's only going 2 pixels. This is going 4. Doesn't need to be exactly the same, but why not? Does that actually change it? It does. And then I can move this one down a little bit. Yeah, that looks good. So that's the symbol, right, for the reactor core. And you know, I gotta put one of those there. See how it looks. And now the arrow on the reactor letting you know that's something you should grab. And when you grab it, the arrow goes away. And then this arrow is on the reactor platform, letting you know what you should put there. Yeah, that's cool. I like seeing that. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It is, I will say this, it's nice to, you see, like you're not sure, right? Like, can I even do this? You're not sure if it's possible. And just seeing somebody else do it, using the same tools you're using, and they're doing it, so you know it's possible, right? Like, I've seen a lot of cool 3D games made in Godot, and I didn't think Godot would be my first choice for 3D. But they're doing it, and they're making pretty cool games with 3D. And now that I know that it's totally doable and possible, it kind of removes the barrier in my mind of just trying it, you know? I feel like this... I feel like this would look better... No, maybe not. Let's not mess with it right now. Let me just sit with it for a little bit. So I do like that. So I'm going to commit that. Got my generator ghost. Got my generator ghost scene. The platform and the... this is what I want to fix. This is... noise. This I can commit, I don't care. This I'll do later. I'll do that later. I'm not going to commit that. Alright. So I want to fix this code that I don't like. Here. I don't like this. could change this to be like that a little bit. That would be okay. I mean, this is the same thing. It's just a little tidier. The reason that I don't like it, let me just talk it through with you guys. The reason I don't like it is that it creates a dependency of this child script on something else in its parent. And if I ever removed this script would break. But that would be okay, because this never actually gets used anywhere else. It's specifically for this. And this also doesn't have a dependency going down. This depends on this. So I can still use this generator ghost other places. It's fine. If I wanted to. I don't, but it's fine. This script depends on this. But that's also okay, because this structure is the structure for these reactor platforms. So this dependency from here, which is only used in this thing, to this, which I've decided is gonna be here, is okay. So this is okay. Yeah, it's okay. The way to break this dependency would be to have this script emit a signal here. So it would emit a signal to let the parent know whether it's started or stopped. And then this script would listen to that signal and then show this or not. But it would still be a dependency. It would just be a dependency from this script on generator ghost being there. I would just be moving the dependency a little bit. This is fine. Let me run it one more time and make sure it still works. And then I'm going to move on. Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop. And if I have 2 of these, yep, still works. It's kind of ghostly. That's that add mode in the canvas item shader. Yeah, okay, that's good. So that will go there. Added a indicator on reactor platforms to let the player know that they can drop a reactor there. And then this is my new revised art on ice wall. Revised ice wall texture. Added more details. This is noise. This is noise. All right, and all the rest of this is, yeah, just working on the ice plant. Thanks, Gruntled, for the reminder to work on that. Even though you didn't know I was going to be working on it. All right, back to this nonsense. So I don't know if I like these tulip shapes at all. They're a little too earthy, planty, you know? I think the scale of them is right though now. All right, let's just do something more abstract. That's what I think it needs. Something a little more alien. Let's take all of this. Maybe if I can mimic some of the shapes in the ice cavern walls themselves, that'll spark something. Let's do a layer here. And we'll do something like just do a little bit of a lighting effect just to see, just to test. It's blurring the whole thing. Just blur this layer, please. Why on earth? Look, the preview is showing just that. And I hit OK. Okay. I'm not sure what this is. Just want it on the selected cells. Okay, whatever. Getting a new PC, huh? I ordered a new PC recently. I was thinking about making one, but I couldn't because I can't buy a video card. So I bought a pre-built, which comes with a video card that I could probably take out of the pre-built machine and sell individually for more than I paid for the entire machine. But they just told me there's a shipping delay because apparently it's shipping out of Texas or something, and their warehouse doesn't have any electricity. I don't know what's going on. It just seems impossible to get a computer right now. I would prefer to build one. But if I can't get a video card, I can't get a video card. So yeah, I like this better. So these can do some kind of funky thing, and I like this little lighting effect in there. And I can add a third color in here to give it a little more depth. Or I can add black, you know, or some transparent areas in it, give it a little more depth. And they look okay stacked up. Yeah, it depends. Let's see. Alright, do that. Do that. That looks okay. They look better when they're moving. And they look okay mixed with the other stuff. Right, kind of blended a little bit. So these gray ones, you might see them sparingly on the blue. And the blue ones you might see sparingly on the reds. Something like that. $3060s are going for $2,000 right now. It's insane. This pre-built that I bought comes with a 2060. Which you just can't buy a video card right now. It's crazy. All right, I kind of like this shape. And I like the colors. I don't know, they're a little... So, one of the things you see over here, if I look at this, right? You can put these plants and these rocks next to each other, and they look different enough, you know? These are round, these are pointy, right? They kind of blend together a little bit, but you can tell that they're different things. These look a little samey to me, you know? They're like... I think it's because these have these same triangular blue tips as these. And they end up, you know, just kind of blending together in my eye a little bit. They need something else to separate them a little. The silhouettes are too similar to each other. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I could have swore I saw a... Oops. Could have swore... Let's see. You can't even get one. There's a 3070 for $1,600. A used 2060 for $700. So dumb. Oh, the prices went up since yesterday. It's stupid, right? $1,000 for a 2060. And I bought a whole PC with a 2060 in it for $1,000. This is all Bitcoin, isn't it? This is because of Bitcoin, right? It's annoying. Maybe I'd feel differently if I owned any Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, like, what, NVIDIA, they just announced like a new version of the video card just for miners. Or they're like trying to get miners to buy a different kind of video card. Something like that. I feel like this art that I'm doing right here is going to make it worse. I feel like this is going to make it a little bit worse to exacerbate the problem that I already have. Maybe, you know, I'm going to try and make these move. Let's make these move, because maybe the movement will help separate them, you know. So, let's delete this. Let's unlink all these frames. And then we can just go frame by frame. Let me turn on the onion skin. Stretch it out for 3 frames. Now I got 1 frame behind and 1 frame ahead on the onion skin. And I can just start, let's see, I can kind of move some of this stuff around. Let's make it a red-blue. So when it's red, it's behind, and when it's blue, it's in front, I think. when it's red, it's a frame behind. And when it's purple or blue, it shows it ahead. That's what's coming up. Yeah. So if I turn this on, you can see it moving there. So let's move this guy, move you down, make this guy go up, this guy will go down. You'll go down, you'll go up a little bit, you'll go up a little bit, you'll rotate a little bit like that and go down, and you'll go this way. Okay. I should really be separating these things into different layers if I'm going to do it this way. That's fine. Let's just hack it for right now. So everything I'm erasing is turning purple because the next frame is red and it's going to have this back. And the previous frame is blue and it has it as well. So that red and blue overlapping makes this look purple. So the last frame has that blue, and the next frame has this central area blue. Let me copy this frame 2, no, this frame 3. I'm going to copy it to all the other frames. Unlink. Okay. And then I'm going to take this as best I can. I'm not trying to be super neat or tidy or anything. This can all be very rough. Because I just want to see if it works. And create a new layer. Okay. There. Oh. So once I see if this works, then I can spend the time trying to make it nice. But for right now, so this would be the stems. Oops. This will be the flowers. All right. Hey, see ya. Thanks for dropping by. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That copy isn't working. Oh, because I wasn't copying the wrong, oh Lord. All right, let's see if this janky animation makes it look any better. It does a little. I mean, it separates it a little bit, like you can see it moving. And I do kind of like the overlap. Let's try something like an effect here. So I'm going to try this. Just do a little bit of a random thingy in here, and then take all of these and blur them. Yeah, that looks janky, but remember, it's placeholder. Yeah, I kind of like that. I kind of like the idea that there's something glowing inside of these things. Maybe I could have this glow kind of go up along the stems and into the flower and then radiate out into space. Something like that. Maybe they'd be emanating like little snow particles, or oh, I know. Yeah, when you run into one, it could like shake loose some of the particles and they'd fall down or something. Pastrami sandwich just arrived for me. You know what that means? It means the stream's over. Hey. Piezoelectric crystals. Sorry, Javi. Right when you showed up at the same time my pastrami sandwich showed up. So I gotta go. Piezoelectric crystals. That's like quartz, right? Doesn't quartz do that? Isn't that how quartz watches work? I don't know. I think maybe there's a color thing I need to do here. Maybe it's just as simple as like outlining these. Or just doing a smoother animation. You know, making these kind of more flowy would be better. Right now they kind of hold still, and every time they stop moving, you kind of can't tell whether it's a rock or a crystal. So they need to be constantly in motion. The motion does help. I like the lighting effect. Yeah, I think this is kind of the direction I want to go with these. I'm going to need to spend many, many, many hours on this, obviously. Which is a shame, because I can't do it right now. I got a pastrami sandwich getting cold. So thanks for dropping by, everybody. It's been fun having you here. Thanks for sharing your afternoon with me. And I'll see you again next time. Take it easy, everybody.